Okay. Yeah, I had I had my wish to talk on. So, all right, we can start the match now. Okay, so we're gonna start with MST on Rocket side and Extended on Snowman's side. So Snowman is just barely able to get off the entire sequence before getting topped out. But Rocket with a small combo to cheese Snowman out. Take the first point. You're gonna get TK from both players here, and both doing the same first couple bags before diverging with Snowman, building a quad, Rocket breaking the back-to-back to send some cheese over to Snowman's side, but Snowman building an Imperial Cross to change their well and send their surge over. Doesn't quite kill Rocket, though they have a lot of cheese to deal with at the bottom. Snowman. We're gonna see some more extended from Snowman while it's called Rocket doesn't do an opener. Snowman plunking for the 33 spike on their extended to take the round. TKI from both players again. Snowman's gonna misdrop their LST while Mythical Rocket has to waste T to keep their own LST. So they transition into 5-4 sacking, but Rocket breaks their surge, but it does not do very much to Snowman. And hover Snowman with the counter spike, but it also doesn't seem to do very much to Rocket. Rocket with the double combo quad to take the round though. Gonna see some more MST from Snowman. Gonna wait to tank the clean from Rocket and counter spike back. Though Rocket will survive and has a lot of clean garbage to counterattack with. But Snowman manages to defend against all of it. And now they're building Surge right now, but they break it a little early. Snowman has a bit of a Surge disadvantage, but they have a really clean board to build some on. They're gonna perform a little bit of all spins, but they misdrop the Z piece. They are not quite able to get out of it with their pieces. So Rocket's gonna take the next round. Swan with the C-spin opener again. It's gonna send a few lines onto Rocket, but it doesn't actually end up doing anything besides Rocket having a bit of a surge disadvantage, but they're gonna live Snowman's attack and counter with their own garbage, but it doesn't quite take out Snowman. Snowman trying to find their back-to-back chaining, but force the skim to start it. They're gonna start it now though. It's up to 7, but they have to break it just to cancel off Rocket's garbage. They have a clean count of 4 to start their next surge, but they get the kill from breaking it there. It's Snowman with another C-Spin opener. Rocket giving them the free clean that Snowman wants, but they're able to live it, and now Snowman's the one in danger here. Putting the L piece on top of their well, but they do manage to skim out of it before dying. These clean counterforce from Snowman are really helping them survive all of these attacks, and they're gonna take the round. Both players with the C-Spin opener, though they are built differently. Snowman's gonna try and get some all-spin surge while Rocket just does regular T-spins. Though Snowman had to break their surge as a result of the all-spin sending less. So they are barely gonna live this situation, but they found a good combo down. It's a Snowman going for more extended while Mythical Rocket just does some upstacking, but they have to skim out of their back-to-back. Eye dependency on Rocket's side, so they're not going to have as many eye pieces, but they do cycle to their eye fast enough to live Snowman's surge. And now Snowman misdropping the J piece, but it's gonna end up forcing them to skim out of their back-to-back. But they are starting it back up real quickly with these counter 4s and T-spins. Snowman with the S-piece misdrop. They don't quite survive it, unfortunately. Snowman going for extended again. Let's go Rocket is still just up stacking. Snowman has to break out of his surge to not die, but the surge on Mythical Rocket's side is not gonna do anything to Snowman. So Snowman's gonna be able to just build up their surge again from Mythical Rocket having to skim right now, but they're getting these cancels in to survive a bit longer. Now Snowman try not to send garbage to Rocket's side as they have a spike, but Rocket is... They're trying to send some cheese over to Snowman's side, but they're barely gonna combo out of their situation. It's not looking good for Rocket, and they die. Tied up now, 5-5. PKI from Rocket's side and C-spins from Snowman. We're gonna do a little bit of all spinning, but to get the force surge for canceling. Snowman gets the combo T-spin, and then going for some more all spins in order to get to that force surge. They're gonna continue it a little longer, but they have to break out of it as their board is not very accommodating for the next pieces. Alright, huge J-spin for Snowman. It's gonna allow them to keep Surge, but they block their well off with the T-piece, so which forces them to break a little early. Snowman just up stacking right now, but Rocket's about to get their Surge. Sends it off immediately, but Snowman does not take any of the cheese that comes with it. Mythical Rockets downstacking their cheese with the combo, and now it's Snowman with the slight disadvantage, as they have some cheesy garbage on their board. Let's go Rocket, unable to capitalize on Snowman's cheesy states, but they do have a slight surge advantage. It's gonna be 8 surge now. Snowman barely able to get the survival off, and now Snowman's the one with the surge, finding a way to continue this back-to-back. Now, they're attempting not to send off clean. That could help Mythical Rocket survive, and they managed to accomplish this to take the round. Right. Rocket not sending clean over to Snowman's C-spin. Now Snowman getting a little impatient, so they send off the C-spin. Now Snowman's gonna try to keep their back-to-back, but they break it with a nice combo. Rocket accepting a lot of the cheese that came with it, but they are downstacking it well. A Rocket misshopping the eyepiece, but it's not gonna end up meaning very much. So there's a 20 spike from Rocket. Snowman misdropping their piece, but they opt not to go for the STSD it resolved into, and they end up dying as they don't have enough canceling power. Right. C-spins for both players. Rocket gonna end up taking the second one as a single, which gives them a few lines of garbage, which they use to skim. Rocket misdropping the S-piece, though they have some tucks to fix it easily, but Snowman just not able to get down quickly, a little too greedy with the surge, and Rocket is gonna take this set. Our next matchup looks to be Botchus and Alkaline. Like we're waiting for Alkaline to show up. Right, so looks like both players really close in rank. Botchus looking a little bit faster, but the versus score is essentially the same between both of these players, so this is looking to be a very close matchup. All right, Alkaline is present. So Gonna see no warm-up this time. Gonna get straight into this match. They're gonna see Botchas with the PCO. Both players accept it, but Alkaline Solution gives them a back-to-back. So they are ahead in Surge, but Botchas misdrops their piece and has to lose their back-to-back. Now they're attempting to cheese up Alkaline to prevent them from keeping their back-to-back, but Alkaline breaks on their own terms, almost tops out Botchas, but not quite able to finish him off. Botchas finding a huge downstack combo with their funnel quad. Gonna go for a TSD there with the TSS to fill in the last bit. Now Alkaline at the bottom of their board, but they don't have much to cancel Botchas's bit of cheese. Now they have a slight disadvantage. Botchas gonna build up their surge here. It's up to 14. A huge S-spin, incomplete S-spin triple from Botchas to keep their back-to-back. It is looking very Botchas favored with that Finn on his side. They're gonna keep building it to guarantee the kill here. But Alkaline gonna see if he can survive it, and not quite, as the pieces did not come in his favor. Alright, Botchas not going for the 4-wide, just an all-spin opener. But they misdrop the next 3 pieces, which Alkaline will capitalize on to take the round quickly. Alright, Botchas going for an actual 4-wide this time. So Alkaline's just upstacking because they know if they send any clean over, it will punish them severely. Botchas filling in part of their 4-wide, which will mean they have less of a combo to work with. The 4-wide sent so little though that Botchas just gets a lot of free clean, which they're gonna 3-wide to attempt to capitalize on, but unable to find the combo quad there. Alkaline, a big surge advantage, but it doesn't do anything to Botchas. But his own misdrops will end up killing him that time. Alkaline with the SDPC, and Botchas doing just LST here. Gonna have to break out of it with that J-spin. And they break the surge along with it. Going for a donated TSD and an I-spin, which they were unable to perform. But they misdrop the L piece, and Alkaline just has to break, and they will get the win here. And Alkaline with a little bit of modern art on their board when Botchas died. Now, Alkaline going for some more SCPC while Botchas just goes for a stick spin. Alkaline also going for all spin, but they are slightly behind. The fruit salad setup for Alkaline to continue a little bit of pressure before breaking, but Botchas' send and will end up killing as Alkaline misdropped their eyepiece. We're gonna see some more SDPC versus stick spin. Alkaline unable to get off their DPC before Botchas sent them. But the sends that Botchas gave Alkaline were in the LST well, which Alkaline was able to capitalize on to take the round. Now, Alkaline unable to get a solution that keeps back-to-back, so they opt not to take it. They're gonna break with a combo, but Botchas is just gonna keep... that's unfortunate for Alkaline. Their misdrops at the top of the board. Now, Alkaline declining the quad PC, gonna opt to downstack instead with an 18 spike. Unfortunately, they end up wasting some of their T pieces for a setup that doesn't keep back-to-back, which is gonna put them in the back foot for sending attack. They're gonna have to keep downstacking now, as they are trying to find the solutions that preserve back-to-back, it looks like. Now, Alkaline has a surge, but see if they're able to convert this into a win. In fact, Botchas, the one that's able to convert their garbage into a win with that huge downstack that caught Alkaline off guard. Now, Alkaline misdropping their opener, but they just get sent some cheese from Botchas' PC. But it is cleaned up quite nicely, and now Alkaline the one with a nice board, but they don't find the T piece, so Botchas is just gonna take another round from catching Alkaline off guard. Botchas finding the PC, but having to break their back-to-back from it. They're gonna skim out, but they are in a little bit of danger here. But they find a really nice downstack. Now they're just gonna keep finding their combo downstacks to keep the pressure up. Now, Botchas with another little 3-wide, as they had a quad at the end. Another incomplete Z-spin triple from H-Rank, and Alkaline looks like they were going for a T-spin triple at the top of their board, but it was not worth it. Now, Botchas going for more stick spin. They're not opting to plonk the clean garbage, though. Seems like they're gonna just try to build some more back-to-back, which seems to be a large part of their win condition here. Alkaline sending a massive amount of cheese over to Botchas' side, but it gets downstacked really quickly, so Alkaline's not able to convert his cheesing into a win. Now, Botchas unable to keep their back-to-back through that little bit. Now they're going for T-spin double into a triple, but they do waste a T-piece, so they're not gonna have enough firepower to stop Alkaline's spike. Alright, Botcha's starting off with all spin, while Alkaline is gonna T-spin. Botcha's going for the SZ spin combo. Now, Botcha's in a little bit of a predicament now. Almost died, but Alkaline wasn't able to send the last bit to finish him. Now, Botchas is gonna try to build as much surge as he can to cancel off Alkaline's surge, but the garbage just lined up in a really good pattern for Botchas to cancel and survive that. Oh, that double hard drop was really unfortunate for Botchas. I guess they just quit after that one, which ties the game up. Alright, Botchas with a little bit of mech harding here, but they're gonna just freestyle now. Now, they're gonna try to find as many all spins as they can. They do miss one, but it's not gonna end up changing this outcome. The L spin triple there to fix their stack holes. Now, Botcha's bursting that 21 spike, and Alkaline just doesn't have enough to cancel the spike. Alkaline just opting to plonk Botchas's stick spin there. And they misdrop the 180 L spin, which is going to put them at a huge surge disadvantage. Now Alkaline's going to try and cheese up Botchas so they can't have enough resources to finish off Alkaline. And it looks like it is going to work. Now Botchas is going to have to build up another surge, which they are doing so pretty well with the S spin into E spin combo. Now, yeah, Alkaline just trying to cheese up Botchas and prevent him from building back-to-backs, but Botchas breaking his 20 surge and downstacking for a 41 spike to take the round. Alright, Botchas with the Gasho opener into Imperial Cross, but they misdropped their piece, so, but they end up fixing it, and then misdropping again. Just barely able to get out of those misdrops with their downstack. Now, Alkaline is... they're just attempting to build surge right now. That T-spin was a little greedy. It almost ended up killing them, but they found the piece just in time. Alkaline able to find that 4 surge, but Botchas just got caught off guard by that spike. They were unable to break the surge to defend themselves. Alright, Botchas with the stalling opener, but they do PCO. And now it is Alkaline getting a little lucky with the garbage, but they didn't use it optimally enough. So they just sent off the quads without anything, and it is gonna punish. Alright, gonna see some SCPC and like some kind of pseudo mech heart. I'm not sure what this is from Botchess, but it is able to build them a lot of surge quite quickly. But they didn't even need the surge to take out Alkaline, and it is match point for Botchess now. Right, Botchess with his he's just gonna be T-spin stacking here. While Alkaline has to downstack due to his garbage positions not being favorable. Now Alkaline had a lot of cheese to deal with, and Botchess can convert this into a win if he sends enough lines, but Alkaline finds the downstack as Botchess misdropped one of their pieces, and they're gonna misdrop another piece. And they misdrop the J on top of that, but they are just barely able to get out. But Botchess misdropped another piece, so Alkaline is gonna just barely be able to find their way out of this with a TSS quad to cancel. And now it is very dangerous for Alkaline. Their garbage, they do have a lot of cheese on their board, and they're just not able to find the downstack fast enough before Botchess sends them the top outlines. It looks like our next matchup is gonna be Tatoes and Mythical Rocket. Now, gonna wait for Tatoes to show up now. Right, so Tato's gonna be our leading seed here with slightly faster than Rocket, but they're gonna be having around the same efficiency. It is gonna come down to if Rocket can defend against all of Tato's attacking. And we're seeing if the players want to warm up. Potatoes does, so at Mythical 2, we're gonna go into this warm up now. Potatoes going for a 6-spin while Mythical Rocket goes for a C-spin, but they don't end up taking the full C-spin. Rocket opting to combo down, and Potatoes just killed themselves with the eye miss drop. Quite a quick warm up. Now, let's get into this real match now. Potatoes with the Hachi spin. Now, Rocket's just gonna upstack, but they're gonna be breaking their back-to-back before they get to 4, which loses out on some attack. Rocket cheesed up a little bit, but they get a pretty good downstack to get them far lower on the board. Now, Rocket is gonna just start upstacking, and that does kill Potatoes. Now, both players with the right side LST, but Rocket misdrops some pieces, so they're gonna be playing catch up on back-to-backs, but Potatoes breaks and sends a few lines of cheese, but it doesn't do very much to Rocket. Rocket with the clean TST into getting their surge now. I'm gonna try and build it up as much as possible, but the garbage that was sent to Potatoes was pretty clean for a 10 surge. Rocket is just trying to get to their next well with the TSD, but they break early to send some more cheese onto Potato's side, which does work, but they aren't able to do much with Potato's cheese estate. Now, Mythical Rocket trying to build their back-to-back. They get the 4 surge and catch Potatoes off guard by breaking it with the down stack, which gets them their second point. Potatoes not gonna put the O piece on the right for the S spin, which does end up killing them, which is unfortunate. Now, Potatoes going for the LST, but they skim out of it before getting to 4 surge. But Mythical Rocket also in LST, they are gonna also skim out before they reach 4 surge, but they did not find the eyepiece in time and to downstack, and Potatoes gets their first point. Now, both players in LST and on opposite sides. Now, Potatoes trying to find how to keep their back-to-back, but it takes them a really long time, which forces them to break it, but Rocket looking to be a little like they were not in the great position, but this is looking okay for Rocket right now. Potatoes in LST again now. Tato's cancels the clean garbage instead of the cheese, which makes them have to break back to back again. But they do get a nice combo. Tato's with the surge again, but they break it quickly. Rocket having more LST, but they immediately break out of it here. Tato's just going into 9-0, trying to find a way to get to their next well. Now, Tato's plonked that clean from Rocket and counter spiked hard enough to take out Rocket. Tato's with stick spin, Rocket sending the C spin, but it is not effective. Now, they're trying to spike out Tato's, but it is not working for them. And Tato's just gonna downstack all of Rocket's garbage. Now, Rocket covers up their well with the J piece, which ends up killing them as their I piece did not have a way to access the next well. Rocket with the PC from TKI. It's going to send a lot of early pressure onto Tato's, which Tato's does not have the downstack to get out of that situation. Now, both players are going to go into TKI again. Tato's is going to use the garbage first. And now Tato's has back-to-back, but they're going to break it for a 19 spike. A little greedy with the Kaidon, but they're going to be able to make it out and take out... they're going to take out Mythical Rocket with that 22 spike with the Yoshihiro into quad surge break. Now, both players are going to be doing LST here. Mythical Rocket breaking out of it with that quad. Now, they're trying to find a way to keep their back-to-back, but they end up not being able to, which is a lot of time lost for Rocket. But Tato's is currently just trying to upstack. Bit of cheese garbage on his side, which does end up turning into a lot of cheese garbage. And Tato's is just not fast enough on downstacking his garbage to survive Mythical Rocket. Rocket gonna have a nice combo downstack, but it's not the spike they really wanted, as the PC sent lines of cheese beforehand. Right, Mythical Rocket using that garbage to cancel off Tato's surge spike. Now, Tato's really high up on the board. They're gonna still try to keep their back-to-back through all of this. While this is a little greedy, but it does work for Tato's. They're gonna go for the fractal quad here, but they don't take the second TSD, instead willing to surge break. Rocket just sending Tato's a lot of clean garbage that he just plonks in order to counter spike with. Now, Rocket does misdrop a little bit, And Tato's is gonna capitalize on that to win the next round. Go Rocket with the TKI, but they don't end up preserving their back-to-back in the opener. But neither does Tato's, so it's gonna be quite it's gonna be a struggle to see who can get their back-to-backs first. With Tato's in the lead, but he's gonna break before Rocket can. Alright, Rocket struggling with the T-spin. He took a little too long on that mini T-spin, which let Tato's send enough to kill him before he could do the TSD afterward. Right, Tato's with just a regular quad. And now, let's go Rocket. Not in a great board. Tato's is gonna just be sending quads with the quick surge break to send cheese onto Rocket's board. Now, Mythical Rocket not able to preserve their back-to-back through the down stack, but Tato's is sending pressure onto Rocket, and they are able to get the back-to-back through their down stack, and that is able to finish off Rocket for that round. Now, Rocket with the C-spin, they are going to send it immediately, but that just gives Tato's free clean to work with. Now, Tato's is going to opt to skim out instead of building Surge there. But the next combo they did was quite large to defeat Rocket that round. Now, LST from Tato's here again, and he's going at 5 PPS. He's a really quick 25 spike, but they misdrop the S piece, and they're just barely not able to get enough APM to defeat Rocket that round. So we're gonna see the mid game now. Now, Tato's trying to find that back-to-back continuation, but they just aren't able to again. Now, they opt to skim with the S piece instead of taking the T-mini, but Rocket with a quick spike to kill Tato's before he could defend. Now, Rocket with more C-spins. Tato's misdropped their T-piece, and they're gonna try to get out of it. Seems like the Ice Skim was able to do so, but Rocket not really taking advantage of Tato's situation here. So he is still gonna be at a surge disadvantage despite that. Now Tato's, he's just gonna pause for Rocket, but send the 20 spike. Tato's sending off his short surge again, and it is gonna put a lot of cheese onto Rocket's board, but Rocket is able to get out of it before Tato's can kill him. Rocket misdropping the T piece, and that is gonna seal his fate for this round. It's gonna make it a nice score. Now, Katos is gonna keep doing their LST, not quite as fast as we've seen from him, but they're gonna be able to keep back-to-back through it. But Mythical Rocket tried to spike him out of it, but Katos was able to defend it quite well, and now... But it is changing quickly with Tato's about to lose from Rocket sending, now over 200 from Rocket. Right. Tato's plonking Rocket's C-spin after seeing it, but he was unable to use the clean garbage, which gives Rocket a free round there. Rocket unable to start their back-to-backs with that board, but Tato's will be able to, which gives him a small advantage. Now, Tato's gonna break before he gets caught off guard, and now Rocket is at an advantage with his back-to-backs and sending. But Tato's is really just not able to use the clean garbage on his board to get out of Mythical Rocket's pressure that round. Rocket with the donated TSD to start his opener. Now, Tato's is gonna have a surge ready, but they were a little greedy with the Kaidon, but they did have a way out, so it is not gonna kill them. Now, Tato's is gonna do some more LST, finding that LSD to switch swells really cleanly, but they misdropped the S piece, and now it is Tato's who is now having a slight disadvantage. Rocket with the quick 23 spike to take out Tato's there, and it's a match point for Rocket. Mythical Rocket with a lot of misdrops. We're gonna see another tiebreaker here. Plato's having a large well, but they end up using it to skim, not taking advantage of it fully. But it is gonna be it is not looking great for Tato's right now. As even after all of that, they do have a bit of cheese to deal with, which Mythical Rocket is relentless with. Now, Rocket is gonna try to send some more pressure over, but it is not effective. Tato's is gonna be building more TSDs here with his upstack. The quick surge break again. It's gonna prevent Rocket from starting his back-to-back quickly, but Tato's not in a great position. They find access to their well though. They're gonna try and build up something. looking to skim out of their 9-0 well now, which they just did not have enough to defend Rocket's spike again, as the skimming doesn't cancel very much there. All right, so our matchup is Satalia and Snowman. Now, Satalia has a slight disadvantage in this matchup, it looks like. So we're gonna see if they are able to overcome it. So their prospects aren't very likely here. Though Satalia does have a decent knowledge in all spinning, which is they are going to try to use that to their fullest here. But they do end up misdropping the L spin into T spin setup. Now Satalia with the Imperial Cross, but it is too greedy. They end up missing the I spin there to open up their well, and that is going to be the first round of Snowman. Alright, Satalia with the Fairy Cannon. Snowman using Extended here. Now Satalia is able to cancel off all the cheese, but they're not able to build their STSD fast enough. And Snowman's going to take the second rounds. Satalia with the Fairy Cannon again. But their eyepiece does cover the well. They're gonna block off the incomplete TST setup there, but they do have access to their well right now. Now Satalia has a slight disadvantage in Surge, but it doesn't look like they're trying to fix that anytime. Just trying to downstack all this garbage, which they will end up losing to the Surge disadvantage if they don't have a response. As Snowman has just been able to freely build it, but Snowman breaks on Satalia's terms, which will allow Satalia to live that Surge, but it doesn't matter because Snowman's follow-up was able to kill Satalia. Snowman misdropping their T-piece for their LST. Now, Satalia is gonna try to all spin their way to a large surge, but they break it a little early. Now, they're going for a L spin, S spin, but they don't have the L piece, which is a little unfortunate for Satalia. Now, they're just trying to skim to survive. They get the count of 4 with that L piece, but now Snowman, it has a pretty clean board now. They're just gonna build back-to-backs. And Snowman breaks Surge on his own terms here, which does cheese up Sedalia a little bit. But so it's gonna be skimming quite a bit to survive this. But they do find a Surge out of it. But Snowman has a C-Spin, which renders Sedalia's attempt to cheese ineffective again. Now, Sedalia counting to 4 for that next squad, but he's getting a little greedy, but you can't really do much with this much of a skill gap. But Sedalia is trying to push for the victory, but he just falls a little short. Snowman was able to downstack in time to top out Sedalia. Snowman's going for more extended, while Sedalia's gonna all spin, but pairing the power of extended is gonna force Sedalia to break out of their surge. Now Sedalia misdropping their J piece, but they do have a way out. Alright, Snowman at 22 surge, which is a little dire for Sedalia. They did not even have to break the surge to top Sedalia out. Sedalia going for more all spinning in their opener, but Snowman's gonna send a real quick spike to force them out of it. Now, Snowman doesn't have a surge right now, but Sedalia has a lot of cheese on their board, which they will be able to get out of. Or Snowman can build up too big of an advantage. Now the issue is now what happens afterward, which Sedalia is just trying to survive while Snowman goes for the kill. Sedalia having a really bad board state from those misdrops, but he's just barely able to live for a second. Now, Alkaline and Snowman. Alkaline has a slight surge disadvantage with this stacking that they're doing, but Snowman is not going to be able to break their surge in time, so Alkaline will take this point. Snowman with Shichibu Train opener. But Alkaline is not gonna break their back-to-back for the PC. Now, Snowman is at a slight disadvantage in Surge, but break it, but to force Alkaline out as well. Now, Snowman has to deal with a couple of misdrops on their end, but Alkaline is just trying to skim right now. That L piece will block their well, but they do utilize that to combo down further. Snowman gonna try and build Surge to counteract Alkaline Surge, but Snowman is having a massive downstack here, gonna completely neutralize Alkaline Surge and then some. It's a really weird Z-spin setup on Alkaline's side. It was probably a misdrop, but it does end up killing them and tying up the set. Now, Alkaline having a slight surge disadvantage now. Snowman with the PC there, but it won't do very much against Alkaline. But Snowman having a massive surge, but being forced to break it to defend against Alkaline means it will do a lot less damage than what Snowman hoped for. Now, Alkaline misdropping the TPs. They do get a Z-spin set up to fix it, but their garbage holes are not very favorable. Opting to skim instead of keep the back-to-back with a spin, but Snowman will end up topping out from Alkaline's downstack there. Yeah, Snowman with the extended and Alkaline with a misdraw. But Alkaline gets a huge downstack combo, which forces Snowman to break to live. Now, Snowman has a lot of garbage to work with. They downstack spike, but Alkaline had a fractal quad ready. But Alkaline almost topped out there, going for a greed, but their break did pay off as Snowman is gonna get topped out from all that garbage from the surge and spike. Snowman with the C-spin opener, while Alkaline goes for a modified PCO build, which they don't end up getting the NEPC of. Snowman with a nice surge, but an unfavorable board state to keep building it. They're gonna break the surge at 8, which sends a lot of messy garbage onto Alkaline's side. But Alkaline misdrops the L piece, and that will end up popping him out. Snowman with the PCO, both sides doing PCO here, but Alkaline declining PC while Snowman accepts it. So Snowman accepting the PC sent Alkaline garbage that he was able to use to counter spike Snowman into topping him out. Now, Snowman with the 5.5 PPS extended gaming, that is enough to top out Alkaline. Now, Snowman trying extended again, but they did misshop it, opting not to go for the spin triple there. They're just gonna get a quick counter spike from Alkaline's garbage to tie it up. Snowman trying the extended again. Now they're gonna cancel that garbage, and it's a third straight win for Snowman within 30 seconds. Snowman going for extended yet again. Now, if Alkaline can't respond to Snowman's opener threats, he is just gonna end up losing. But this time he does have a good response. Snowman is now having a little bit of cheesy garbage at the bottom of his board, but the back-to-back down stacking from Snowman is going to be huge for him. But they do opt not to finish the count to 4 there, instead breaking Surge, which does end up being fine for Snowman, but Alkaline has a lot of clean garbage to work with here. And Alkaline opts not to go for the T-Mini into S-Spin double, while Snowman, they're gonna build the STSD, but they have to waste the TP turret. So, but they are funneling, but take a quad instead of the combo down stack there. Nice counter 4 from Snowman, keeping the pressure up. Now they do find their 4 surge here, and they are able to just counter all of Alkaline's cheese. But Alkaline having a pretty messy board, which they're gonna have to skim at to fix. Now Alkaline, they're going for the not going to cut copy there. Snowman trying to delay sending the fractal to cancel, but he got a little impatient. So Alkaline will take this round. Snowman going for the extended, and they misdropped it though. No, they did not misdrop it. But it will not affect Alkaline as he did not do it fast enough. Now Snowman is currently having a couple lines of cheese, but they're trying their best to downstack it while keeping back-to-back, which is a huge part in this gameplay. Huge surge spike into combo quad and TSD will take out Alkaline for that round. Now, Snowman with the extended again, but Alkaline does not give him any clean garbage to work with afterward, which means Snowman will break, but go for a questionable all-spin setup there, which does not actually do much. Now, Snowman is gonna keep going to Axis as well with these combo down stacks and two spins. Getting a really nice combo, which sends one singular line of cheese over. Now, offline misdrops their T-spin double there, which they're not quick enough to get the J piece over for their quad down stack. Now, Snowman is doing more extended. They found the PC 270 APM opener, but it's just not enough to top out Alkaline. So Snowman is quickly upstacking with these T-spins, but Alkaline's just surviving right now. But that is a lot of garbage that Alkaline cannot deal with. And it's match point for Snowman. Now Alkaline going for STPC as well. But Snowman has the clip, he has the garbage to continue this. With a nice back-to-back continuation, and he does skim out of his surge, but it was a defensive one. Which means that Alkaline will not be losing this round from it. Now Alkaline needs 3 straight rounds to take this set back, but do not count him out of it just yet. Snowman is he got a little impatient with the plonking. Now both sides are gonna engage in a stall battle. Alkaline with the nice alt spin there, but they end up skimming out anyway. Now Alkaline is they're gonna blitz out some attack in order to pop out Snowman once again. I'm sure the nerves are getting up to Snowman as he misdropped his opener, which he did not quite top out from the opener, though it was a little closer than he would probably like. And with these really clean donated TSDs, canceling that cheese from Alkaline Surge there. Now Alkaline they are trying to build up Surge, but the amount of cheese Snowman's been sending him has forced him to break out of it once again. But Snowman now, the one being cheesed up, using the Tetrio exclusive T-spin there to send just a little bit more in a surge. Now, Snowman with the cut copy, but this board is cheesed up once again, which is gonna get out of using skims. Snowman with a clean stack right now, but Alkaline timed that surge break to send as much cheese to Snowman as possible. However, it doesn't have the effect of making Snowman break their back-to-back, as the garbage was set up so that Snowman could just back-to-back down stack it really well. Alkaline they're just trying to build the surge now. These clean TSDs and a little bit of S and Z spin singles. Snowman having a large advantage in back-to-back now. They're up to 15, and they're going for a TSS into J-spin combo. But it is ineffective as the large surge means that all of his attack extent is clean. However, Aqualion was able to cancel that massive amount of cheese that Snowman was about to spend. But Snowman is able to get combo downstack of their own in order to keep up this pressure. As Snowman with the skimming in order to reach as well. Trying to burst out a fractal quad setup, 25 spike. And it looks like he has this one. That well played to both players here. Right, our current match is Nuclear Bread and Potatoes. Now, Nuclear Bread is. They aren't as strong as Potatoes, but they do not count them out. They have been seeing a lot of improvement this year. But it is going to be a lot of work to defeat Potatoes this time. Potatoes already has taken their first match this set. Now, Potatoes misdropped their 6-spin, so it is Nuclear Bread's chance to take out Potatoes with that J-spin P-spin combo, but it is not effective. However, Nuclear Bread was able to cancel all of Potatoes' cheese from that surge. But Potatoes is going to be able to make P-spins out of the cheesy garbage that Nuclear Bread sent, which does benefit from lots of +1. Nuclear Bread, they're trying to create their surge now, but they misdrop, which causes them to end it early. Big fruit salad setup on Nuclear Bread's part again. But they're gonna break it at 8, which that will end up topping out Potatoes. A Nuclear Bread with the TK into some all spin. They are going to start the back-to-back real early, and they get a quick victory off of Potatoes there. Nuclear Bread is doing LC, so is Potatoes. It is opposite sides, and Potatoes opt to break out of it in exchange for combo down stack, which sends a bit of cheese, but cheese is not effective, and Nuclear Bread's gonna take a 3rd point in the set. Nuclear Bread going for freestyle SCPC continuations. but they misdropped the T piece. They did a TSS to maintain some attacking power while they were resolving it, but it's not looking great for Nuclear Bread. They have a 12 surge, but Potatoes breaks, but since Nuclear Bread was at the bottom of their board, they were able to survive for a little bit until Potatoes was doing his follow-up to top out Nuclear Bread. Now, Potatoes with more LST, Nuclear Bread's gonna do the 180 TJSD to start his surge. Now, Potatoes is keeping their back-to-back with the down stacking. Could have done a Z-spin single there, but the massive spike that Nuclear Bread sent will force them to break out either way. Yeah, Nuclear Bread in a lot of danger. Took a little too long on the down stack, which will tie this game up 3-3. Nuclear Bread with the PCO setup and Potatoes just with the quad. Now, Potatoes is gonna just keep T-spinning, ignoring the garbage for now. They're gonna skim into a TSD though. Nuclear Bread is really big surge builder, but they're forced to use it defensively. Nuclear Bread is sending a lot of clean over. Nuclear Bread is gonna tank that cheesy garbage in hopes of topping out Potatoes, but they were not able to finish them off, which is a slight disadvantage. But Nuclear Bread misdrops that Z piece and unable to get the Kaidan set up in time. Nuclear Bread has Fractal setup, which they do just send immediately. They're likely attempting to build up back-to-back. And they're already at 8, but they misdrop like 5 pieces in a row. And I have to break it. But the resolution is a nice donated TSD there. They're gonna place the T piece to finish the count to 4, but they don't opt to go for the S spin triple continuation. They do take the J spin into TSD there with the prophecy. And now Potatoes is at a slight disadvantage, but if they can spike with that well, which they have managed to force Nuclear Bread to break their back-to-back, which means the advantage is neutral. Nuclear Bread with the TST there, but it's not going to be effective against Potatoes. Potatoes with a huge combo downstack, which was able to top out Nuclear Bread. Now Potatoes has massive garbage favoring him, which he was able to burst into a 17 spike, but it was not effective against Nuclear Bread. But Nuclear Bread misshopping the TPs there, it's gonna unfortunately lead to its demise that round. with Tatos is 25 spike. Nuclear Bread going for some back-to-back down stacking, but they're just barely able to find the down stack for that. Now, they opted not to go for that eye placement, which would have been really unclean, as it was only a triple with a hole in it. Now, Nuclear Bread going for the hamburger count to 4. Now, going for a bit of SC props, which that will top out Tatos, as Tatos had misdropped to make it 4-6. Nuclear Bread with an interesting LST start. They break out of it quickly. Now they're all spinning for their stuff. That Z spin does unfortunately ruin the T spin there. Now Nuclear Bread, they did cancel the clean to make it cheese with that, but it's not gonna matter that much. But what will matter is that JP's fish drop that Nuclear Bread performs, but which they just don't have another eyepiece to go down. Nuclear Bread going for another their PK into alt spin, but they were unable to set up the kick for the STSD. So Tatos will grab another quick point there. Nuclear Bread almost fish dropping their TKI at the start, but they do have their awareness of where their pieces are. Tatos plonking Nuclear Bread's clean garbage there in order to give him a sense of where to head next on his down stacking. Tatos with the huge 27 spike, but Nuclear Bread is gonna be able to live it for a little bit, but it's just not enough to survive Tatos' pressure afterward. Right, Nuclear Bread with the SDPC freestyle again. Real nice T-spin there, but Tatos just huge spike there from Tatos, and Nuclear Bread's J misdrop did not help anything at all. Nuclear Bread purposely canceling that TSS while not sending it to Tatos, as he does know that Tatos will try to plonk him. Oh, that eye misdrop will steal Nuclear Bread's fate, unfortunately, which causes Tatos to win this set. Despite Nuclear Bread's TR, like he has definitely been performing quite well in these tournaments, so you should look out for him. Alright, our next matchup is going to be Mythical and Botchus. I believe this is a rematch from before. It is not. It's going to be definitely a very close one. But yeah, these two players have essentially identical stats. So it's definitely going to be a toss-up for who wins. So I do believe Botchus has a bit more in the all-spin department compared to Rocket. We are going to be heading into the warm-up now. Okay, we're gonna see both of the players try and plunk the opponent's PSD there. Now Botchus does get the free clean there that they wanted, but Mythical Rocket is they're trying to cheese, but Botchus has a really nice overhang for a PSD, but it does come at the cost of some of his board state, which means Rocket will take the warm-up. Alright, we're heading into the real match now. Right, Mythical Rocket with the C-spin, while Bacchus is gonna be all spinning for his opener. They are able to get a quick 7 surge, but quickly slowing down after the misdrop, and they break the back-to-back. Now, Mythical Rocket doesn't have the greatest board, but they are down stacking it really quickly. They don't go for the T mini there, as it probably costed them too much time to do. Now Botchus with nice count of 4 there. They're going into a hamburger, but they misdrop the S piece, immediately breaking Surge as a result. Now Mythical Rocket is trying to build back-to-backs now, while Botchus is down stacking. But they get a really powerful combo T-spin that gives them the advantage now. But immediately losing it with that misdrop. Botchus with that huge combo quad, they're able to get some advantage, but they aren't able to convert it into a win, as all of it was not used to build back-to-back, but Mythical Rocket's garbage on Botchus' side was very fortunately on the best column. Oh, Botchus with 8 surge already. Not looking to like Botchus finding himself in a clean board state once again. He's gonna send this pressure through all spins. Now, trying to get that L spin there. but it took a long time on it, which was enough time to get Mythical Rocket his pressure that would top out Botchess. Now, Mythical Rocket has a bit of cheese garbage, which delays their back-to-backs by a little bit. Botchess, though, breaking their surge into a big combo quad that will top out Mythical Rocket that round. Alright, Mythical Rocket with the C-Spin. They are gonna get a little cheese from the PC, but they opt not to keep the back-to-back with an L-Spin. But that decision will be punished slightly as they don't have anything to cancel with when Botchess sends them the cheese. But Rocket does downstack fast enough to get themselves an advantage as Botchess misdropped one of their pieces, which will let Mythical Rocket win the second round. Botchess with the triple all-spin PC there, which is huge. But they break the back-to-back at only 8, but that does send a little bit of messy garbage onto Rocket's side. Now Botchess is counting to 4 there, and now they're back to all spinning for back-to-back. Now, a little somewhat dirty Imperial Cross, but they do get the 2 S pieces needed to resolve it. Now, it's a really dirty Windsor SD that does not function properly, but Botchess does skim out of it. Now Botchess at the top of their board, just barely able to survive. Really greedy PST there, but it does pay off. Now Botchess with a little bit of mech heart gaming, and that is enough to top out Mythical Rocket with that huge 23 spike. Botchess with the PC from TKI. Now going into all spin singles for building back-to-back again. They're up to 15 now, but they misdrop. But they're able to fix it with an incomplete Z-spin triple. Unfortunately, they misdrop the next 2 pieces, but they find a really elegant solution to fixing it, using L-Spin Devil to fix the height difference. Now, I believe that Botchess just misdropped those next pieces though, which forced them to break. Mythical Rocket having a bit of cheesy garbage, trying to send over lots of cheese over to Botchess to force him to break. But Botchess he's just good at downstacking cheese with all spins, so it will not work. Botchess at 23rd, and he breaks it to take the round. Rocket quickly going for LST here, but Botchess is not too bad off, as a lot of clean coming from Rocket's LST that he's able to use against him. but Bacchus sets up a T-spin without any TPs, so they're forced to break out of it using alt spins. Now, Bacchus with that Z-spin triple, but they misdrop, and they are unable to keep their back-to-back through the misdrop. And they misdrop another piece, which they're just barely able to downstack out of. Now, Mythical Rocket just sending 9-0 quads, and it's enough to take out Bacchus that round. Now, Bacchus doing the PC, but it does waste the back-to-back. But the garbage does give him a cut copy into a quad. But Bacchus breaks anyway, as Rocket's garbage was too fast for him to finish the count to 4 there. Bacchus is just building lots of surge with the garbage and his own stacking. You know, clearing 4 spins in that singular combo. Going for some revive runs, but might need to revive himself with that one. Alright. Bacchus having lots of garbage on his board, but his own stack is not extremely clean. He does resolve it with some TSTs and an incomplete TST. But all this ignoring the garbage with his all-spin stacking might cost him this round. He's not able to get to it quick enough. It's his all-spin setups coming in handy, making more TSTs out of, but Mythical Rocket is into LST once again. But Bacchus' surprise spike came in at such a time where Rocket had no defense against it. Now both players doing PCO, but Bacchus getting a worse solve, which does end up costing him. Misshopping the J-spin 180 there, but they find a nice fractal, which will end up killing Mythical Rocket. Now Bacchus has Stixon, but they opt not to tank any clean. Bacchus with the big combo downstack, but there's no quad to finish it, so does not do a whole lot of damage. But Bacchus extremely cheesed up, having to skim quite a lot, but Rocket is not building any back-to-back during this time, so Bacchus will be able to get away with this without any disadvantage. Bacchus with the C-spin, but Mythical Rocket didn't tank any of it, so was able to get it pretty much for free. 20 surge on Bacchus' side, but Mythical Rocket lives it pretty easily, as Bacchus didn't have any big follow-up to finish it. Interesting setup from Botchus. They are gonna have to break, but Botchus just misdropped and misdropped their IPs. They're just barely able to make it out alive. But they misdropped 2 more pieces. But none of the misdrops that Botchus made were fatal. Phil Rocket just skimming for his life here. But that quad from Botchus is going to defeat Botchus. Now Botchus is gonna keep continuing their all spins, but it's not effective without any back-to-back. So Rocket's gonna take a quick one this round. Now, Botchus with the strange stacking. Not sure if it is a misdrop, but it doesn't seem like they wanted to break the back-to-back like that. They do skim into a T-spin triple, but they fail to connect on the switchback. But they misdrop the SPs, getting no T-spin set up afterward. Now Rocket into the back-to-back now, breaking at 8, which does not send very clean garbage. Botchus having to skim as well. Double misdrops on Botchus' side will cause him to top out that. Botchus with the stick spin, while Mythical Rocket has some skimming for his opener. But Botchus almost dead there. The Z-Mish drop is not going to make things any easier for him, but he is able to find the skims to survive. Not greeting for that T-spin on the top of this board. But now they're going for more all spins, as Rocket doesn't have very much defense. 32 spike, but Mythical Rocket did have something for that one. Botchus with a S misdrop there, forcing him to skim again. Now, Botchus wasted the T piece for that setup, but they do have some interesting stacking right now. Going for a T-spin triple, and it does resolve cleanly, which will cause Botchus to take their next point. Now Rocket has a lot of clean, but Botchus changing that real quickly with the surge break. Now Rocket's gonna try skim down with these setup, but Botchus is just skimming instead of trying to find some sort of all spin setup. Misshopping the J piece, they're just gonna cause him to lose this round. Alright, Rocket with the C spin. Botchus misdropping MKO. but the fix is really good for him, as he's able to convert it into a win. Alright, Botch's using the double cancel, but the double cancel may not have been in his favor, as it turned most of the garbage he got into cheese. So his board state is not it's not very good, but Mythical Rockets isn't either. He has a lot of cheese to deal with. Now Botch's misdropped the T piece, so they have to skim in order to survive. Not going for a Kaidan either. It's just T spinning now at that they're at the bottom. Alright, Mythical Rocket with the fractal, but they misdrop it. And Botch's 31 spike means that Rocket did not have the fractal to cancel and top out. Botch's looked to try to do an ice spin, but it was not worth it for him, so he just took the quad instead. Breaking the surge at 10, but it is not. It's gonna leave him defenseless for Mythical Rocket's counter surge. Now Botchus is going for 6-in Mythical with the C spin. The O piece is a little unclean, but Botchus resolved it with the L spin double to defeat Mythical Rocket once again. Rocket misdropping the PCO up stack, which is a big problem for him. But Botchus with the T-spin double setups there, but they misdrop an L piece, forced to skim again, and do a bit of spin into T-spin. Little washing machine setup on Botchus' side, but they are able to convert it back into a T-spin. Botchus had a slightly unclean board, but Rocket now had a slight disadvantage. With all the garbage on their side, they do find the next well real cleanly, but Botchus is just... they're just trying to find everything they can to close the set out. Their board state is okay. Get a nice 16th spike, but now they don't have any material to finish off Rocket, and he's gonna get away with it. Rocket right at the top of their board, and their piece was not the one they needed to downstack, which means Botchus will be winning this set. Right, we have the next match now. Now this is just the warm-up round against Snowman. Potatoes against Snowman. Now Snowman immediately starting off with a misdrop, but they have an STSD to resolve it. Now we've seen both of these players. Tato does like doing a lot of LST in his gameplay. If you've seen, Snowman is just all around really good, really strong opener as well, but also a really good mid game. Alright, we're gonna see Snowman with not extended this time, just regular SDPC. Maybe an adaptation to what Tato's usually does. They might not actually be able to get off the extended under Tato's pressure. But Tato's has a big surge incoming. They're building it and they quickly released it. Snowman, however, they just quickly downstack any garbage. But Snowman just wasn't able to downstack quickly enough. Tato's had another spike incoming. Right, Snowman with the C-spin and Tato's with MKO. Now Tato is gonna be going for back-to-backs right now. But Snowman has a huge downstack spike that Tato's barely lived. But Snowman's follow-up was able to kill him before he got to the eyepiece, get him into T-spin combo. Snowman with the C-spin and Tato's with PC, not quite going for any forwarding, but they did wait for the plonking. Now Snowman has a nice advantage. They break, but Tato's is quickly just building lots of back-to-backs with the well they had. Didn't even need to break it to win. Tato's with Hachi spin, Snowman doing extended against it. Now, against extended, Hachi spin might not be amazing against it, but it worked for Tato's this round, as he was just able to use all the clean from Snowman's extended to counter spike him to death. Now Snowman misdropping the opener, but Tato's having a stick spin ready. Oh. Snowman with a nice board for back-to-back, opting for all spin instead of T-spinning there. Tato's is able to cheese up Snowman quite a lot. So Snowman's just gonna be downstacking this right now, but he does so keeping back-to-back, which means, keeping back-to-back, which means Tato's was not able to pressure too hard. Now Tato's has a nice T-spin quad set up there. Tato's with the 24 spike, but it's only sending clean over to Snowman. So really, really good setup that they made to get them T-spin single and quad. But a little dire for Snowman with a lot of cheese on his board. But it is just ignoring all the garbage until he finds an opportunity to combo down stack. Snowman's Surge came just in time for him to cancel the spike and live a bit longer. Now, huge pressure from Tatoes to take out Snowman that round. Tatoes with the hockey spin again against Snowman's freestyling. Opt not to go for the C-spin there, but they will keep their back-to-back for now. Snowman has a lot of back-to-back from all the all-spins and T-spins they've been doing. They were trying to go for another T-spin, but they were unable to from Tato's pressure. But they got a huge down stack, going into another massive down stack, but Tato just has just enough to cancel. Tato's wisely pausing in order to cancel more of Snowman's garbage there. And Snowman seems to just be sending pressure, but the pressure is enough to take out Tatoes. As Snowman and Tatoes both going with LST. Now Snowman's slightly faster on it, but Tatoes is gonna be breaking out of it. It's a little risky for Tatoes to just ignore garbage like that, but they are able to get back down to it afterward. But Snowman just sent them a 27, and Tatoes just doesn't have a response to it. Alright, Snowman with a C-spin. Tato's just going for LST here. Now, this is just Snowman being forced to break in order to survive there because of his indecision. Snowman with a C-spin opener. Once again, Tatoes, they are willing to give Snowman the clean he wants, but that will in fact punish Tatoes, as Snowman was able to get the combo down stack and take this round. Snowman trying to go for stick base, but he just misdropped the eyepiece, which forces him out of his opener. Snowman just trying to downstack out of all of his cheese. But Tatoes is able to get a nice surge advantage going. Snowman with a nice C-spin, gonna be able to plunk all of that clean garbage, but his surge spike does nothing compared to what Tatoes has. And Snowman once again misdropping the opener, while Tatoes does Hachi spin into a PC. Now it's going into some nice LST. Good RNG from the well is gonna let Tatoes take that round from Snowman. Snowman not misdropping the first part, but they are not able to get the spin off. However, the little extended part was able to build him a lot of surge, which Snowman does convert into a win there. Snowman gonna go for extended once again. He does have the confidence. He's gonna plonk that quad from Potatoes and opted not to break surge there, keeping it and going for a PC. Insane vision, but it does not kill Potatoes, which is absolutely insane. Survival from Potatoes there. Now, Snowman going for a fractal, but doesn't have 2 T pieces to use it, so Snowman's now the one at a slight disadvantage, but Potatoes is just not able to downstack fast enough, so Snowman will take that round. Now Snowman is quickly able to find that 4 surge. They're gonna use it offensively, but it does not actually end up punishing them, as they had a clean down stack to get out of what Potatoes sent them. Snowman with a nice spike there, but Potatoes is going for some all spins to get to that surge counter, but Snowman has a much higher one. The garbage landed just correctly so that Potatoes will not be punished at all. Now Snowman blocking the wall with the T-piece, but they do find a way to unblock it in time to get the quad. Now, Snowman getting OPs, it's very unfortunate. What a scam. Snowman going for extended while Potatoes just goes for regular stick spin. And Snowman gets the quick win off of his opener. Both players in LST now. Snowman the first one to break out of it, but Potatoes had to as well, as Snowman's sending was too big for him to cancel. Now Potatoes they're just up stacking right now, as Snowman is not sending them any pressure. Snowman almost lost there, but just had the perfect survival. Oh, Potatoes with the mid-game PC, like it does anything. And now Snowman just kept their surge to not send it offensively and managed to survive with it. Potatoes having to break surge defensively as well, but they get it back really quickly. they cancel most of the cheese garbage that Snowman sent. It's Snowman misdrops a bunch of pieces, which gives Potatoes the win. A Snowman waiting for the garbage this time, which he converts this C-spin really nicely into just 6-3 upstack. But he misdrops it. Very dire situation for Snowman. Now he's trying to go for some kind of weird ultimate solution, but this is not the time to do so. The Snowman was just a little too slow on the down stack that time. Snowman with the extended again. Potatoes has his LST set up, but he has to break out of it. Snowman having a surge advantage and not letting go of it just yet. Going for a S-spin there, but they misdrop the piece, which forces them out there. Snowman has that donated TSC right there, but they place a Z piece. They place 2 Z pieces on top of their garbage, which is going to cause them to lose that round. Snowman has another extended, while Tito's just going for some freestyling. Snowman with the nice incomplete TST, but they're looking for a solution. They misdrop, like the next 5 pieces is really not looking good, but they just barely find the down stack. But it's just not enough. It's just not enough to survive Potatoes' pressure. It does look like our next match is gonna be Mythical Rocket and Potatoes. Now this is a rematch, and Mythical Rocket won the last one, though it was extremely close. So gonna see if Potatoes can get his revenge match, or if Mythical Rocket's gonna keep his victories over him. We are seeing a warm-up here. So yeah, Mythical Rocket's going for 6-spin again. Potatoes is gonna try for his Hachi-spin PC, which he does not get, unfortunately. Potatoes is just trying to do something, something here. They did get a nice little back-to-back down stack. So Go Rocket has a pretty clean board. They don't go for the counter 4 there, which does alleviate some pressure off of Potatoes. Mythical Rocket is just gonna start upstacking now. Mythical Rocket trying to find it. Looks like they got a little tunnel visioned, trying to get the Z spin instead of taking the L spin there. But it is fine nonetheless. Mythical Rocket going for a little 3 wide. But Tittle's having a really bad S-miss drop to lose the warm-up. Okay, so we're gonna go into the real match now. So Potatoes is gonna quickly go for the 5-4, and Mythical Rocket falling for a 4 wide. But it just does not do absolutely anything to Potatoes. In fact, Potatoes is gonna punish Mythical Rocket's lack of sending with that 28 spike to take him out this first round. Now, Rocket with the C-spin opener, Potatoes is going to utilize a double cancel, but not sure if he wanted that, as it does cancel all of that clean garbage that Mythical Rocket sent in his opener. Potatoes has a lot of cheese garbage with no clean at all, and he's not doing a great job at downstacking it, which lets Mythical Rocket take the first point. Potatoes with some more stick spin, and Mythical Rocket is just 5-4 of stacking. Potatoes doing some epic stall gameplay, but they do eventually send the attack. But Potatoes punished for not having anything to defend themselves with. Now Potatoes is currently just off stacking again. They're trying to keep their back-to-back, but they just did not find a continuation. Oh, and they misdropped the eyepiece, which lets Rocket take the win without even needing Surge. But Rocket misdropping their C-spin while Potatoes is doing a PC. Now Rocket is they're just skimming, but they do find enough defense to live Potatoes' spike. But even after that, there's a little bit of cheese on Rocket's board. Potatoes has a small surge, which they do break, and it sends more cheese onto Rocket's side. However, Rocket is just really good at getting out of cheesy positions. But looks like they don't really have this firepower. They're just barely able to get enough sending to cancel. Now Rocket going for the TST there. Not sure about that follow-up though. Could have. Rocket definitely has the board state's not bad, but Tato's just looks to have a better one with their Prophecy TSD there, which sends into a 20 spike. Now Rocket putting that S piece on top of their well, it's almost costed them that round, but you know, Rocket is, they just have to upstack now and they win, as Titles didn't have any attack ready. Now Rocket is, they're just trying to get to a clean board state to start building back-to-back, but Rocket sent their surge quite early. Tato's just barely had the T-piece in hand to cancel. Now Tato's is just, they're at the bottom of their board, but that means they have nothing to keep pushing up Mythical Rocket while they're near the top. But Rocket just barely able to send the spike. It's a little greedy count of 4, which they would have gotten away with a little more speed, but Tato's was able to push out the last few lines. Now Rocket able to get the clean garbage to continue pressuring with the C-spin. Rocket opting to send the surge at 10, and that is gonna be able to top out Tato's. This is looking a lot less close than the previous set. Tato's has a good board state right now with their clean wells, but they're just having to skim in order to switch wells, but it will not matter this round. Is all the garbage that Rocket sent was able to be used. Rocket with the C-spin PC forgoing any back-to-back in order to get the quick win, which does work out this time. Tato's using a TSS start opener to deny Rocket any easy clean. So Rocket is putting a lot of Z pieces on top of the well, so they're forced to skim in order to reach the next garbage wells. Rocket having a nice TKI, a little messy, a little dirty SCSD, but it does work out well enough. However, Rocket misshot that Z piece, and that is gonna cost them the round. At Mythical Rocket having to skim in the opener. Now, Potatoes does have Surge, but not a good board state, so they will skim out. Rocket here has a really nice well, but that S piece did not have a good place to go. Now, Rocket has a pretty good board state. They're just trying to send enough pressure in order to top out Pottos, which they did not. They did manage to do so. Potato's going for his nice LST again, breaking out of it into 5-4 stacking instead. Now they opt not to go for the Prophecy TSD there. I'm not sure about that one, but they are being cheesed as a result of not having that canceling power. Tato's not going for the TST either, but they do find themselves on a empty board now and trying to build Surge before receiving any garbage. Mythical Rockets also at the bottom of their board. Mythical Rocket making a J dependency, which they do find, but don't go for that mini TSS, which does cost them a little bit of APM. Rocket with the I dependency, setting up a really premature STSD, which they did not complete. And yeah, Mythical Rocket was just too late to start down stacking. Rocket unable to get their stick spin off, but they do find the downstack to survive. However, they have a surge disadvantage, but Autos threw that surge advantage away with by not having anything to follow up. Potatoes is currently just upstacking absolutely no cheesy garbage on the board. It's just him upstacking. There's a 10 surge, and he does manage to downstack the garbage he does get to win that round. Rocket with the 5-4, but they break before getting the surge. So now Mythical Rocket they're in a little bit of danger from Tato's ascending, but all the garbage comes in a singular well, which allows them to just double quad out of that situation. Mythical Rocket not gonna convert that into a C-spin though, missing out on a little bit of APM, but Potatoes is just not really doing very well in the downstacking. So Mythical Rocket could have won, but Tetos did find a good down stack. But the next spike was just too much for Tetos. Go into another nice score. Right, Tetos using the double cancel once again, going for a Z spin in his LST into an incomplete TSD as well. Now, Rocket is just building 9-0, sub 3 PPS. Like, looking maybe for a plonk, but Tetos is not giving them any of that. Now, Mythical Rocket's now just building 2 spins. Goes for the J spin, but it doesn't amount to anything as he broke his back-to-back right afterward. Now, Mythical Rocket tossing that S piece somewhere else, but it does actually end up helping him down stack. Over Tetos' quick pressure there topped Rocket out. Now Rocket had to waste another T piece, so they did not end up getting that TSD. Unfortunately, skimming there instead of counting to 4 means that they do have a bit less pressure here against Tetos. Now, all the garbage was really unfavorable for Rocket, so Tetos will take this round. And now Rocket is going to be sending a lot of their attack. The surge though, it did not actually connect with Kato's board, so he's just left with a lot of clean. It looks like we're going into our finals with Botchus and Potatoes. Now, Botchus is quite a bit more all-spin oriented. Potatoes is good at just regular T-spins. So Botchus just needs a lot of. They need a time with no pressure in order to build their spins, in order to take the win. Now Botchus with that 26 spike, and they killed themselves. Wow. Okay, amazing warm-up. Okay, let's get into the match. Potatoes with the good old PCO up stack. Botchus going for reliable, but they wasted a T during it, so not as quick as they hoped for it. Gonna need to do a bit of down stacking now. But Botchus is able to preserve his back-to-back through most of the down stacking to send a much larger surge at the end. Going for STSD, but the additional bit of wasting T was not good for him. Potatoes' pressure was just able to kill Botchus before he was able to downstack that. Botchus immediately misdropping SPs, but they keep the L piece in reserve to fix the dependency the misdrop created, and is able to just barely live. But they have to survive Tato's pressure, sure, while they downstack. Tato's having a bit of a surge, but Botchus looks to be fine now. They did manage to live out Tato's pressure. Oh, Botchus with the double misdrop. But now, he's just gonna end up losing, as he doesn't know how to downstack from that kind of misdrop. Now, Potatoes going for the LST again. Botchus breaking surge early. It does send a little bit of messy garbage onto Tato's board, but Tato's is able to deal with it really easily. Huge 37 spike from Botchus. And that's gonna top out Potatoes without any real follow-up. Now Botchus, he did misdrop the L piece, but they had a J piece right afterward, so the damage caused by the misdrop was quite minimal. However, Tato's patiently waiting to just cancel off Botch's little spike there to survive. Botchus is currently just finding that combo down stack, huge 10 combo there. But Tato's just counter comboed with a spike of their own, which almost topped out Botchus. Botchus is currently near the top, but they found a huge down stack again to get them back to the bottom. A nice donation from Botchus there, and they're able to convert it into a massive cheese spike. But Tato's is having one of the cleanest boards, but they misdropped the S spin while trying to wait, and now they're in a little bit of jeopardy. Like, they got out of it, but now Botchus has a surge advantage, but that advantage is gone as Botchus just got O-pieced when they were trying to downstack their misdrop. Now Botchus is doing LST. Tato's got a really nice well and caught Botchus off guard with that 30 spike. Now Botchus is gonna try to fix their things with misdrops, but they end up breaking Surge, so it does not actually do much. Botchus currently downstacking their cheese did so very well. So even Tato's PC did absolutely nothing. Very nice prophecy there. Goes for a J spin instead of a C spin there, but now Botchus in a pretty big advantage. If they can keep up the surge, then they are practically guaranteed a win. Tanking all that garbage to make Tato's feel that surge just that bit more, but it's gonna be Botchus that's feeling the spike as Tato's was able to counter all of that surge with his own spike. Botchus with a misdrop, but it does resolve with a 180 T-spin. Botchus just does not take any cheese garbage from Tato's combo. That goes for a S-spin quad T-spin combo into Surge Break, which is a 42 spike. That will top out Tato's. Now Botchus going for 6-spin, but Tato's is just going for it. I don't think Tato's really wanted to cancel that clean, but he did not really have a choice there. He already held to his IP. Tato's not going for the prophecy there, but Botchus misdropped the next 3 pieces, and Tato's will take that win. Botcha starts off with the quad PC. Looking for another one, but he declined it as it did not keep back to back. Botcha's having a surge, and when he has one of those, like, doesn't break it very often, but looks like he did break it. Not sure if it was intentional, but that is a huge help for Taters, as he doesn't have to worry about trying to break it himself. Botches with the misdrop there, and then Tatos is just gonna go into LST again. 25 spike doesn't continue that TSD with the DT, but Tatos does have enough pressure to top out Botches there. Alright, Botches going with a quick 26 spike, but they do end up skimming their 3 T pieces, but Botches just ended up having a hole in their stack that caused them to be unable to down stack. Alright, Botches pulling out the desperation 4 wide, and they misdrop it. Trying to get an air PC in order to allow them to do it. Botches almost lived that, which would have been crazy. See, Botches just misdropping their opener. I think. Alright, now he tried to do the thing. Took a really long time to get it off though. Going for S-spin triple, really nice, but it just does not do a lot of damage. Potatoes though. Alright, Botcha's not quite a DT, but it's a nice fractal quad, which does end up killing Potatoes along with the surge. Alright, Botchas with the PC opts to break back to back, but he placed 2 eyepieces on top of his well. However, his pressure is so great that he's able to downstack that, maintaining back to back. Botchas just does not have enough to downstack Tatos' pressure of over 200 APM. It's gonna be match point for Tatos. So we might be seeing the bracket reset. Botchas giving it everything he has. It's up to 13 surge. Really nice donated TSD there. And that kills Tatos. Tatos with his classic LST. Botchas fixing his misdrop with a floating donated LSD. Now, Botchas a little bit of cheese, but he's gonna be able to convert it into multiple TSTs. And a really interesting alt spin there. Botchus has a really clean board, which probably is... Never mind. Well, Potatoes is the winner of the set. So we're gonna be looking at a bracket reset here. So, all right, here it is, the true grand finals. You know, winner takes all here. So you're gonna see Botchus with the reliable TSD, but they misdrop the T piece. But the misdrop does provide a nice space to get a floating, which they do get. Not quite going for the J spin single, but Botchus does look to have a good board state, cleanly getting to their next garbage wells. S spin, and then got the T spin, L spin. They're up to 15 surge already. It's like they are trying their hardest now. But even that 22 surge does not kill Potatoes. In fact, it leaves them with a lot of clean garbage that they can use. Now Botchus is just stacking, going for S spin triple, but they did not have an S piece to perform the spin, which his overextension there is gonna grant Potatoes the first point. Botchus with a clean stack there, but they misdrop, gonna perform some all spins to resolve it, but they misdrop more pieces. Potatoes also has a clean state. They're gonna combo down to the bottom of their board, but he opts not to try and keep back-to-back going down, which leaves Botchus with a massive surge advantage. Now, if Botchus can keep his surge, which he unfortunately misdropped a piece and had to break it. Potatoes having a fractal quad setup. It's gonna be performing that, but Botchus just has a really clean board. Botchus with one of these fractals and Potatoes just skimming down to their next garbage well. Botchus is ending their surge a little early at only 11. But Botchus is just relentless with these massive surges. But Potatoes is just able to survive them really well. But Botchus almost lost there, as all spins don't actually provide a lot of canceling power. But he is able to get out of it pretty quickly and continue building. Now Botchus with 3 misdrops. but he's able to live again. But that O miss drop will cause Tatoes to take the next point. Just having this up stacking now. Just ended up tanking a lot of cheese from Tato's spike. But he's just down stacking with keeping back-to-back through most of it. Tato's does have the down stack here, pausing on the quad to make sure that it was used defensively, and the counter for Tato's was able to get him his third point. Bacha's just seemingly not able to get through with any of his surges. Tato's has the PC but declines it. She's on Botch's side, but he's not quite able to kill like Tato's. Botch's down stacking big funnel. And now Botch's going for the C spin there into a STSD, but he missed off the T piece, which he does manage to resolve a lot of the added volume with some spins. Guy goes for a waste T into Imperial Cross. Abata's once again not going for a T-spin mini there, costing some attack power, which Tato's will take advantage of and win. Abachis attempting the cheese Tato's opener. Now, he did miss shot that T piece, but Tato's does have a couple lines of cheese, which, of course, now Botchus does not have all the pieces he needs, but he's regardless gonna get a pretty nice surge, and that will give Botchus his first point in the set. Botchus with the MKO misdropped the T-piece. Went for a really nice donated TSD there to fix this stack. But now he has an LST well, but this is quite close. Botch's getting another C-spin, but wasting a T-piece for volume. Now, Botch's getting a huge combo, but misdrops right afterward, and it's gonna be punished by Tato's for that misdrop. Both players going for stick spin, but Botch's misdrops, so he overstacks his stick spin to compensate. Wisely not putting the Z piece on top of his garbage well. Now Tato's is in LST again with 6 back-to-back, while Botchus is just trying to get a combo down stack to get some to spike out Tato's. But Tato's getting the 25 spike. But Botchus is able to live it, and he's gonna be able to convert a lot of that garbage sent into his own attack. But Tato's gets a big combo down stack to survive. Botchus is going really hard into these all spins. Was unable to get anything to spin that JN, but it is gonna kill Tato's, as the insane amount of cheese at the beginning was just enough. Botchus going for Z-spin into T-spin, but he doesn't know the finesse for it. So he's going to be at a massive surge disadvantage, which causes Botchus to lose again. Botchus going for a STSD opener, but he has to waste the T-piece to get it off. Now Botchus having a bit of a weird board state right here, but he is able to find the surge and quickly start rebuilding his next surge. J-spin into SCSD is a really crazy setup. Now, Botchus, every time he tries to get the surge off, Tatos just always seems to have something to answer it with. But Tato's a bit high up on the board, but he does have the well access now. Botchus opting to do a T-spin and mini there instead of any L-spin. But now Botchus is really high up. Tato's just quite he's just up stacking now. Botchus has not been sending him very much to deal with. Botchus is not quite able to get the quad at the end, which would have been a huge for him. But he does have a little bit of surge to defend. Big defense from Botchus there. It's able to cancel off all the cheesy garbage that Tato's would have been able to send, which does let him build surge more freely. However, he's opting not to, but he does misdrop that piece. And Botchus ends up losing after a surprise spike from Tato's. Botchus doing stick spin, taking that last TSD as a single, so he can count to 4. He does have the T-spin fail to count to 4 properly, but Tato's is gonna still live it though, as he just has insane defense against Botchus' surge. But Botchus' follow-up was really well executed, which will get him the round. Botcha's in LST, but he misdropped it. Tito's also in LST. He's just trying to put pressure on Botchas to prevent him from building Surge. Tito's with a quick 20 spike using a Surge, but Botchas is just able to keep building Surge despite it. Huge 10 combo quad. Potatoes is just barely able to survive. But Botchas right now is at the very top of his board, just barely able to survive as well. With all these floats, and now Tato's the one who likely can put on more pressure. Well, Botchas just misdropped his fractal, which is gonna be a huge dent in how much she can send. But he finds a really nice down stack, and then immediately misdrops the next few pieces. And Botch is a little greedy with that T-spin, using the Z piece to cover as well. Botch is doing the PCO into do nothing opener, and then he misdropped the L piece. It's a little unfortunate for Botchas. Botchas going for TKI, and now just misdropping that piece. I think he might have just fucked out for this, but we can't count him out just yet. Botchas with massive clean well, trying to find a back-to-back solution, but opts to just skim instead. Botchas misdropped the L piece and he just topped himself out. It's gonna be match point for Potatoes. It's not looking great for Botchas right now, but he does need 8 rounds in a row to win, which he is trying his hardest right now. He's almost 200 APM, and he has big surge. He's going for the funny overhang TST there, and he misdropped. The 13th surge did nothing, even with the TST. Opts not to go for the Yoshihiro either. Massive amount of cheese that Botchas had to tank because he went for the setup. And he misdropped another T-piece. Like, Botchas might need a new keyboard at this point with the amount of misdrops he's been doing. Now Botchas misdropped the O piece as well. And then Tato's with 16 spike there. Now Tato's is just building up surge. But not sure about that T piece, as it also that blocks the next garbage well, but Tato's was not planning on keeping the back-to-back, it seemed. Albach is about to lose, and that is our grand finals.
Okay, hello. Yeah, before we wrap up here, I have a couple things to shill, for real. First off is Full Tilt, the Land in Manila, hosted by your organization, truly. It is June 14th, 25. With TEC, Teto, and Nuctris. You should totally join if you're in the area or can fly over. Because I can't. For real. Okay, next up. Apple Orchard Cup 3, end of this month. Your last platinum or any tournament before May invites get sent for you TWCers. I'm pretty sure they have the Discord if you follow through in the registration link. And you should totally check them out for real. And finally, last promo you're ever gonna see of this, Galactic Champions League is, well, happening soon. Signups were extended till the end of today. I don't know what time zone, but yeah, if you haven't signed up and you want to sign up, then you should do that immediately. For real. And yeah, it should be it. I'll leave it on Full Tilt poster for the final scene, because HN, not biased. Okay. Now I just need to find someone to raid real quick. Anyone I'm following? No. Oh, I see normal Tetris. I mean classic Tetris. CTM. Yeah, apparently CTM exists, so, I guess we're raiding into them. Who wants to watch classic Tetris, for real? And yeah, should be everything. We'll see you here at HN next week for Radiant, usual time. Bye bye.